What is up, everybody? Welcome to Theocracy. I am, of course, your host, Theo Snodgrass, comedian and podcaster out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Wherever you may be, thank you for making me a part of your day. Oh man, it's been a busy one, hot one out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Unseasonably hot, even for the month of March. Yeah, it's been a weird news day. I'll tell you that. So we're going to be talking about internet drama today, which is very exciting. I'm very excited. It's not really about the internet drama itself. That's kind of a side issue. Really, what we're going to be talking about is the discourse around Christian marriage. Now, I know that's very exciting, but it's very exciting. Everyone's very excited. And guess what? We're going to be doing a panel show about that this Saturday with my good friend Society Reviews, my good friend Strider, and possibly some other people that we're going to be including in that as well. So it's been kind of nuts. So we're going to get into that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think a lot of people are frustrated, myself included, are who exist in the current culture of just like, stick your dick in any gooey wet hole that will have you and hope that eventually one of them turns into a wife. I think a lot of us concluded that really wasn't a very good strategy. And so we should figure out something else, right? And so a lot of us are like, oh, but Theo, just meet a nice woman at church. And there's a reason why that is not really the viable strategy that you think it is. And we're going to get into exactly why that is in a moment here. That the truth is they're pretty much, look, I know they're not all like that, but it does kind of seem like, gentlemen, I regret to inform you, it does seem like, at least with early reports, it does seem that they are all like that. I don't want them to be all like that. I know that they're not. And I know based on the responses I'm seeing online that women are sick of this shit too. But it's like, Jesus Christ, man. I know they're not all like that, but it's like, God damn. Anyway, so we're going to get into that in a second. Let's go ahead and and check in with the chat real quick. Lady Rokish Nerd is here. He won't let me be 2 seconds late without pointing it out. Alpha Omega, the king of comedy has returned. Thank you, Alpha Omega. Very kind. Happy to have you here. Friend of the channel. Ours of Chats is here. Hail to Theocracy. Friend of the channel. Ours of Chats. Go ahead and subscribe to his content over on his channel. He's got some good stuff. Just dropped a new video on a James, responding to James Lindsay tweet, expressing Gen Z's frustration. So he's got a lot of good stuff to say over at his commentary channel. Sorry, can't meet a girl at church if you're gay. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Women will take much longer to wake up because they benefit from it. Yep. So yeah, we're going to get into that. So unfortunately, the reality of church for a lot of people is that men and women are getting a very different message, and there's downstream consequences to that. So, and this is, and I will be honest, this does seem to mostly be a Protestant problem. It's the Catholic Church isn't immune from it, and a lot of the Catholic commenters that weighed in, we're going to get to some of that. I'm not going to spend too much time on what people were saying because I want to spend more time talking about what I want to say. But it's it does seem it's not, the Catholic Church isn't completely immune from this at all. This is more broadly a Christian problem. So we're going to get into it. I'm gonna pull up the original tweet in a second. Sponsor this half hour. I got these Alp. Hold on, you can't see it because the light. These are caffeine pouches. I got these from the internet because Tucker Carlson did a commercial for them and I enjoyed it. Apparently this is the retarded, political stratification of fucking everything. These are like anti-woke caffeine pouches for some reason. I don't know why. I guess Zins are woke now. I don't know why Zins are woke. I don't know. Nobody told me. I'm not keeping up on the culture war. So I guess Zins are woke and these are anti-woke. And so these are made because remember I told you guys I'm quitting caffeine and or nicotine and marijuana. So if I'm quitting nicotine and marijuana completely, then I'm just gonna have as much fucking caffeine as I want. And my first idea was I'm gonna take one of these here 50 milligram pouches. They last for like an hour, 40 minutes. So I'll do like instead of having 200 milligrams straight to the face with an energy drink, I'll have like 50 for an hour and then 50 for another hour, 50 for another hour, and so on. But then I had the idea, what if I had one of these and also drank an energy drink? And what if I had like 2 or 3 of these and also had an energy drink? And I got to tell you, it feels amazing. I feel like I'm on top of the world. I feel like I can like punch through a brick wall and piss through steel. I feel great. So these are made out of green tea and yerba mate, which I drink yerba mate anyway. So it's rocket fuel. I have the heartbeat of a field mouse right now. It's crazy. I wouldn't recommend doing this, what I'm doing right now. But it is, it's keeping me going. So that's good. Whew, okay. Oh, let's see. Vagabond, I wanted to inform you, you need to watch Akiba Maid Warfare Sunday. Excellent. Excellent. We got anime shit in the chat. Oh, fuck yeah. Strider's here. What's up, buddy? And then Stiff Lips Ups disposable pre-workout. Hell of a marketing campaign, by the way. Yeah, dude. All right. So yeah, I'm just gonna dive right in. We're gonna pull up the original tweet. So for those of you that didn't see that, this gentleman is Trevor. I don't know who he is. So this guy's a Christian social media marketer. And to be fair, he did get a ton of attention on social media from tweeting this. So keep that in mind. Also, for those of you that are married, think about whether or not you would say this publicly about your wife in a million years, even if there was a gun to your head. Think if Batman could beat this out of you. Go ahead. My wife was formerly promiscuous. I was a virgin. Hell of an opening line. Hell of an opening line. Let's see. Then she was radically born again, committed to church, evangelized constantly, Puritan books in her bedroom, prayer journals, grief over past sexual sin, etc. We got to know each other well for over a year, dated for 4 months, engaged for 2.5, didn't sin sexually with one another. Our first so so we're keeping track. My wife was ran through. But she wouldn't even touch me with a 10-foot pole before we were married. By the way, this is a flex. This is a flex. Guys, and by the way, this kind of testimony is foreign to me. For those of you that don't know, because some of you are not Christian, as a Catholic, this is mortifying to me. But this kind of publicly airing out your dirty laundry in the form of testimony is very common in some evangelical traditions. This is like horrifying to me that anyone would say this publicly about someone that they loved and cared about. What's crazy is they're both actively tweeting about it, and they're both going to do they're both doing a podcast about it, which has already been shot. It airs tomorrow. So shit, I'm frozen, I think. Why am I frozen? Oh, there we go. I'm back. Yeah. So there's going to be more. The reason I'm doing a show now is because there's already been like 2 days of discourse that have piled up about this. And then there's going to be so much more by the time we get to Saturday. So I'm so psyched. Okay. Anyway, we didn't sin sexually with one another. Our first kiss with each other was at the altar on our wedding day. And there's a picture, guys. There's a picture of this couple. I cannot wait. Okay. We've been married for over 5 years now. She's been the most wonderful and godly wife, mother to our 3 children, and homemaker you could imagine. She got 3 kids with this guy, allegedly with this guy. I don't know. I haven't seen the DNA test. I'll believe it when I see the DNA tests. Yeah. She's more pure than most virgins. See that? I think that is the part. The she's more pure than most virgins part, I think, is rubbing people wrong. We're going to get into it. I don't want to start the analysis before I've read the piece. She's more pure than most virgins, as biblical purity has less to do with past sins, though they certainly matter, and more to do with one's current posture of the heart and daily decisions to honor the Lord. Oh, man. All right. We're far too quick to forget the story of the woman labeled as a known sinner, likely a prostitute, in Luke 7:36 through 50, who was washing Jesus's feet with her tears while kissing them too. The Pharisees were shocked that Jesus let a public sinner do this. Jesus responded with a parable about debts being forgiven and ended with the conclusion okay, anyway, basically, my wife is a whore, but Jesus liked whores, so it's fine. Everyone seems to highlight the benefits of virginity, and it certainly is a blessing, but we forget to highlight the benefits of being forgiven much as well. My wife knows the depths of Jesus' forgiveness more than most people, enabling her to more easily live out a life of passionate love for her Savior. Oh, fuck, dude. Oh, fuck. Pour one out for the homie. A woman or a man's past sexual sin matters. But what matters far more when it comes to deciding who to marry is if the person is truly born again, if their repentance is real, if they truly have a heart for Christ, if they truly follow Jesus and obey his commands. Oh, fuck. Anyway, so we include some quotes of scripture. And this is them. This is the couple in question. Oh, man. God, and as you can see, he's like hover handing around her hips like a middle schooler at a slow dance. And she's holding his face as if, oh, cute, as if he's like an infant puppy. Just, God, just cuckery, cuckery, cuckery. Oh, Lord. And I know what you're thinking. Let's hear from her because she's like, because before, right. We don't want to judge too quickly. Let's hear her describe it. We have a video from her social media where she describes things. She also has her full testimony is on Tumblr. I read it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I am going to talk about it. I hate all of this, right, Strider? Yeah, it's pretty fucked. Last one on the carousel has the most stuck. Oh, fuck. Last cock on the carousel, indeed. Dude, oh, man. R.I.P. the homie. R.I.P. the homie. It's the claw hand. Oh, bad points out. Yeah, it's not. Here's the thing. Again, I'm going to get into analysis here in a second, but first I want to like introduce you to these people so we can kind of set the framework, right? And then, like I said, and I'm going to give most of my thoughts today, and then I'm going to bring in a panel on Saturday. We're going to be talking about this kind of more generally in the culture. So, it's going to be a good week for. It's going to be a good week for content for sure. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Get such a godly, sweet, loving, servant-hearted husband after being with
servant-hearted. That's so important. By the way, this is like Protestant nonsense. Like I had not heard this discourse until I started. This is coming out of like this is reverence, and this is basically this comes from this idea that the Bible describes a marriage model where the husband is a leader and the wife submits to him. So it's the husband submits to God, the wife submits to the husband looks out for the whole family, the wife looks out for the children and kind of, and then but the husband is a leader. Well, a lot of women who go to church don't like hearing that, so they kind of came up with this concept of a servant leader, where is leadership means being a doormat for your domineering wife, essentially. Because it's like, okay, I know it says what it says in the Bible, but what if it meant something totally different? What if it meant the opposite? What if the Bible means the opposite? And they just went with that because that was more popular. That was easier to keep women in the pews if they did that. And this is a huge, fucking problem, by the way. This is a huge fucking problem, by the way. Like, I don't know what to do about this. Like, I have yet to hear this concept described in detail. I go to Catholic Mass pretty regularly, and I haven't noticed this. But so that's why I'm like laying this at the feet of my Protestant brothers and sisters. But I want to help you guys. I don't I'm not. This isn't enmity. Like, we're on the same side on this. I also agree this is bullshit, and I'm sure it's happening in my church too. I haven't seen it. But crazy stuff. But yeah, that's where this idea of like a servant-hearted husband. Oh fuck, dude. Oh fuck. And we're gonna explain. And I know a lot of this. I think for women, they're having a hard time understanding why men are reacting so badly to this. I have a good friend. Shout out to Zarina over at Rational Female. She said that this story sounded kind of sweet to her, and I was like, oh man, I wish I was. Oh, I wish I had that much optimism. I wish I had that much belief in people. But uh but this is unfortunately I have an understanding of human nature that comes from, see, I'm coming to this from a different perspective. A lot of the guys criticizing this are criticizing this from a place of like being relative you know, they've practiced sexual restraint in their own lives. I'm ran through. So because I'm ran through, my perspective on this is very informed. And I'll tell you anyway, we're gonna get through the video first. We got, like I said, I got to finish introducing you to the couple before I get to the commentary. Go ahead, sweetheart.
So many horrible men.
After being with so many horrible men.
So many horrible men. Now that framing is important. Pay attention to that.
I was with so many horrible men in my past. I can't even count how many men I've been with.
I can't even count how many men I've been with.
She's lost count. Oh fuck, dude. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh dude. It's crazy because she's saying this in public. Oh Jesus. All right, pour one out for the homie. That's tough to hear. That's tough to hear. Imagine this is your wife, bro. Imagine this is your wife. Oh shit. All right, dude. Go ahead.
My past before I was a Christian. And they're all horrible to me. And of course, that all changed once I became a Christian, because godly, Christ-like men are like Jesus.
Like Jesus.
I wanted a genuinely godly Christian man, and I found him at church. Get such a godly...
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. That's tough. Oh, that's tough. Tough to hear. Tough to hear. So this is... and this is, oh, by the way, we got one more. I'm not quite done introducing you to these people yet. Now, I know what you're thinking. Theo, sure, she probably had a lot of sexual partners. It's not like she was a professional whore or anything. She was a working cam girl, among other things. And what's crazy is he's saying this about it. Like, he's just telling everybody. Why are you telling everybody this? Okay, so hold on. I'm going to pull up something real quick. So in the Catholic Church, we have the concept of the sin of scandal, where it's the attitude, behavior, or omission that deliberately leads another person to commit sin or causes their spiritual sin. And it's like, so if you are describing your behavior that is like excessively shocking or gratuitous in a way that could, cause other people to sin, I don't know. It's just like we basically don't fucking overshare because it could give other people shitty ideas. Basically, we have that concept in our church. And this is not all Protestant traditions that do this, but there is something about certain evangelical denominations where they like to just say the most horrible shit, like publicly, and just like air that shit out. And then they call it testimony. And this is like the power of Jesus, and this may inspire other people. And it's like, yeah, or it could tell people that you could do fucking whatever you want and then hit the refresh button and there's going to be no consequences later. Brother, man, like, that's not good. Like, this is a working professional. Now, listen, I've been with girls who were in the industry who've done camming and stuff. I've never met one that was not like seriously fucked up by it. Just, it has an effect on, it leaves a mark on you. And that's not to say, obviously, like, Jesus is able to, offer redemption for everything. I do believe no one is beyond redemption. I totally believe that. I'm totally on board with that. But it's like, okay, so for instance, Lila Rose, friend of the channel for the most part. We love her for her anti-abortion activism, but her takes on marriage are consistently horrible. consistently horrible. So we're going to pull this up real quick. Boop. This is Lila Rose, who is Catholic, by the way, friend of the channel, but consistently terrible takes on men, women, and marriage. Despite the fact we love her for her anti-abortion activism, she does a lot of great stuff on that side. But like, you can have a promiscuous past as either a man or a woman, and then accept Christ, be transformed, build a life of habits of virtue, and become an amazing spouse, mother, or father. That's true. What I'm grumpy about here, and my gripe is, what they're leaving out is the part about how hard it is. That's the part where I'm not hearing. And what we're hearing from her, like, I read her whole testimony on Tumblr. I read the whole thing. I'm not going to share it with you guys because it's not really about these. I don't want to get too much into these specific people's business. This is more of like a broader attitude thing that I want to talk about, because it's really about the discourse around this that I want to get at. And, you know, with her testimony, I read the whole thing. A lot of it is, I met this man and he did this to me, and then I met this man and he did this to me, and I met this man and he did this to me, and then I went here and this happened. I went here and this happened. What you don't hear a lot of is, I take accountability for my bad choices. Even in her retelling the story in that short little videos, she met with so many horrible men that were horrible to me. Not, I made choices that put me in certain situations. You don't hear that a lot, right? And I'm making different choices now, right? You don't hear that hardly at all. So what you're hearing is a distinct lack of agency and accountability, you know, from this person. And I think that is what's frustrating to a lot of people is, you know, accepting Jesus is like awesome spiritually, but that doesn't like absolve you from like the earthly consequences of the shit that you've done. Right? It doesn't. And it's totally fine to say that, hey, because you've had a certain kind of history, that makes you like, I probably am not going to want to consider you as a marriage partner. That doesn't mean I don't want you to have a great life and stuff. I just don't want to be married to you. And that's cool. That's totally fine. But for some reason, a lot of particularly women online have been coming out in force saying, anybody who doesn't think that this story of cuckery is beautiful, if this doesn't bring a tear to your eye, if this doesn't restore your belief in love, then you're a porn addict. You're a porn addicted heathen. And it's like, fuck, man. All right, dude. It's like, I think a lot of it, because a lot of women do, you know, come from a history of promiscuity, and then they find the church, and then they kind of, that's like the main way women fuck up early. There's a lot of different ways. Men get really creative with the way that they fuck up. Women, it's pretty much just fucking too many dudes. That's mostly it. I mean, they do other stuff sometimes, but it's all mostly that. That's the main way, because it's so accessible for them. So a lot of women who come to Christianity later, it's because they, you know, got ran through, you know. And what's crazy is, like, you know, both this husband and this wife have tweeted extensively. One of the things that she said, which I really don't buy, is that since finding Jesus, she, you know, has never had a sexual temptation for any man outside of her husband. And they're like totally fine. And I'm like, here's the thing. The thing is, like, if you're in the church, we all know couples like this. We've all seen couples like this, where it's a woman who's completely ran through, in this case, a literal working girl at one point, like a professional prostitute. And she's married some guy who's a virgin. Who's a virgin. Who has no sexual experience, no real concept of what women are. And guys like that, whatever that creates, what we don't want to talk about, this is the part we don't want to really discuss because it's not pleasant, is it's a fact that there's going to be a significant power imbalance within that relationship, because she really understands men and he doesn't understand women at all. So, like, whatever sex they have is going to be the best sex he's ever had. Right. And he's probably going to place her on a pedestal, because men without a lot of experience with women tend to really pedestalize women. it just is what it is. Like, they don't understand. Like, women and men both have a dual nature. Like, men are highly virtuous on the one hand, and we're also violent, horny animals on the other. And women are capable of incredible virtue and compassion, and they can make a home livable, and they can provide warmth, and they can also be vindictive and manipulative and gossipy and trifling. And they can be hypergamous, like in a way that can destroy families and even communities. They're capable of, both men and women have a dual nature. We have the part of us that's virtuous and the part of us that's destructive and not good. And I think the fucked up part is like men who don't understand women well, who tend to pedestalize women. The problem with them is that they don't see that negative side of women at all, especially when they're dealing with their wife. So if she did have problems, if she was, engaging in bad behavior, he wouldn't be able to detect it. And like the fact that he pedestalizes her gives her an overwhelming amount of leverage within the relationship. It just is the way it is, that he's going to care about her a lot more than she cares about him. Like, that's just, it's not that she doesn't care about and appreciate him. It's just because she's had so many other experiences. We don't know the number. We don't know the quality of experiences. What we know about her, she was in a new age spirituality. She was doing like ketamine with dudes, and she was into rave culture, and she was a white woman with dreadlocks, basically. So, I mean, going to like music festivals and doing like DMT. And so for those of you that know, ran through. And like, look, and I'm saying this as someone who is also ran through, right? And what I don't like about this discourse is I don't think we're being honest about actually how hard it is to change your life in a significant way when you get used to living it that way. Like, it's not just like you meet Jesus and that changes everything. Like, significant, like radical religious transformation was part of it for me, but it wasn't all of it. It took probably like 5 years of really focused effort to get to the place that I am now. So basically, I had to radically change the whole way I did everything. And there are some people who knew me before and some people who knew me after, who could testify to the radical degree to which my life changed. And it didn't come easily. Like, it was a tremendous amount of focused effort. It was very painful, a lot of very difficult introspection. I had apologized to a lot of people that I had fucked over, and I had to, I read a lot of books. I had to learn a whole brand new set of skills for how to just like interact with the world. I had to completely change the way that I dealt with women and men. The way I socialized had to completely change. The places that I socialized had to completely change. My social circle had a lot of turnover in it. A lot of my friends didn't make it to that next stage in my life because they were used to me being a certain guy. They were being the guy who would go out and party and drink and stuff and like chase girls or whatever. And that was what they knew me as. And they didn't want to accept me as something else. That process is extremely painful and extremely difficult, and those demons are still knocking at my door. I am 1 or 2 bad days from being Shia LaBeouf in New Orleans. If I have 2 bad days in quick succession, I'm Shia LaBeouf in New Orleans. And I live in Las Vegas. So literally, I am a 10-minute Uber ride from ruining my life every day when I wake up in the morning. I am a 10-minute Uber ride from ruining my life. I could probably walk to a life-ruining situation if I was really motivated. If I got up early enough to beat the sun, I could walk to ruin my life if I wanted to, right? So, yeah, I don't buy this idea that their bedroom is not haunted by the ghosts of dicks past. I just don't buy it. There's like, and by the way, all of this is, that's if he's not a closeted homosexual, which a lot of people have speculated that he's just a closeted homosexual, which I'm not going to get into that because I don't have any evidence that that's true. I will only say that about people that I'm confident about, like Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, clavicular. I'm pretty sure those guys are closeted homosexuals, possibly Andrew Tate, although I'm not 100% sure on that. He does have children after all. But this guy, I don't know anything about. I don't want to get too much into his personal shit because, like I said, we're talking about things that are generally applicable. We all know couples like this, where the woman is ran through, the dude has basically no sexual experience. He's kind of like a spineless beta type guy, has a stable job, and this woman is looking for her whore parachute plan, her whore exit strategy. She's like, well, I'm done being ran through. I'd like the stable guy now. So this does damage for a couple of different reasons. And shout out to Brittany Hugo Boom, who pointed this out, she runs EV Magazine. I accidentally made her mad on Twitter one time because I asked her the ethnic origin of her last name because I thought it was cool, but I didn't know at the time because I was new to Twitter. I didn't know that's how people ask if you're Jewish in like a backhanded way. So she thought I was being anti-Semitic, and I wasn't. My name is Snodgrass. So anytime I meet someone with an interesting name, I ask them about it, whether it's like, Nigerian or Arabic or Swedish or whatever the fuck it is. I always ask people about their names if they're interesting. But on Twitter, that's like code for, are you a dirty hook-nosed Jew? That's what which is what she thought I was asking, which I wasn't. I didn't even know it had that connotation. So I got in trouble. But shout out to Brittany Hugo Boom, who runs EV Magazine, because she had a great take on this. I'm actually gonna pull it up while I'm talking about it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's see. If you talk to any boy between the ages of 18 to 22, he'll likely tell you that he's frustrated with dating because he seems like every girl is on OnlyFans or sleeping around. Then he opens up social media. The first thing he sees is some guy happy he waited while his wife slept around, but it's okay because she found Jesus. So the average young boy is reading it frustrated because it sounds like this guy is a cuck. And if he follows this path too, he will end up with a reformed hoe. Marriage needs a better marketing campaign. Many people have never seen a powerful marriage in real life. Very true, by the way. Very true. Everyone dreams of love and romance and feels like it's no longer achievable in this age. Additionally, good girls, this is really important too. Good girls feel like prodigal son when they see posts like these, because when a girl does a bad thing and sees the light, she still keeps all the OF money, gets the speaking engagements, the fame, and the guy simping over her anyway. Shout out, what's her name? Nala remember that girl on Fresh and Fit who basically did that? She was a whore 1 minute, and then the second she shut down her OnlyFans, she opened up some kind of like fucking Christian subscription service where she's gonna be teaching bitches how to be holy. She was teaching bitches how to deep throat 2 seconds ago, and now she's teaching bitches how to pray. Dude, it did no time of repentance in between. Anyway, not saying people can't change, but these posts don't inspire the ones who need inspiration. They end up pissing off guys and girls trying to date. And that's the key. So men see this, and first of all, they see a complete, like, let's say I'm a young man who's not in the church, and I see this. I see a complete absence of masculinity. I see, oh, so if I join the church, I get to marry a whore? That's the reward that awaits for me? That's crazy. And so, oh, fuck, we have chats in the Instagram. We have Instagram chat. Hold on. We got to get to that. Hold on. I didn't realize the Instagram. Sorry, Instagram chat. I can't see you in the Discord chat or not Discord. What am I using? StreamYard. I can't see you. Hold on. Let me pull up. There's Instagram chat. I'll get to them in a second. So, what was I going to say? So yeah, so young men will see this and they'll be like, I'll be like, oh, so I get, what do I get? Nothing if I'm, and also they're inundated with like, on social media with images of like wealthy whores kind of constantly. There's constantly, that's pumped into their brain all the time, So, and this is something I say a lot, which is that whores win twice. There's like not really any incentive, which is frustrating for women who followed the rules. And I've talked to women like this who've essentially followed the rules all their life. And they look around and the men are marrying women with promiscuous pasts. So it's like, well, what the fuck did I even do this for? Why didn't I just slut around? I didn't gain anything from this, right? I didn't gain anything from this. What was the point? So there's essentially no benefit to following the rules as a woman. There's no benefit to it. Because it's like, well, and that's external. Now, the truth is, this is the actual truth that nobody's fucking talking about, that nobody will tell you. I'll tell you because I'm fucking ran through, so I'll tell you. It doesn't matter how sincere your religious transformation is. It fucks with your ability to pair bond. And that doesn't go away. It fucks with your ability to attach to people. It fucks with your ability to form sincere, stable, emotional bonds within the context of marriage. It does fuck with you if you're promiscuous prior to marriage. That's the reality. It does, you know. And me personally, and I will say this, I'm like not that shallow when it comes to body count because of like my situation. I kind of, I care a lot more about what you've done in the last like 3 to 5 years. Like, are you, rather than, what your whole history is? Because I can understand everybody was brought up in the same fucked up culture where it lied to us about what creates intimacy and what's actually important and what's good to do with your life. Everybody was brought up in that same fucked up culture. So I'm not saying that like people are like beyond redemption or that they can't make mistakes, but what they're not telling you is how fucking difficult it is to come back from that and to build like a stable, Christian marriage. It's really, 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 really fucking hard. They're not being honest with you about that when they tell these stories. And I think the narrative that people take away from it is, fuck it, I can just do whatever I want. And then there's going to be a parachute plan waiting for me. And then I can win twice, essentially. And I think the men are like, well, fuck it. Why would I even sign up for that if it's just going to be, and it's just going to be so. Let's go through the chat, and then I'll get to the Instagram chat here in a second. I didn't even know there were Instagram chats. Sorry, Instagram. I didn't know you guys were out there. They definitely both see other men on the side. Why is her testimony on Tumblr? Why is this anyone's business but theirs unless it's for attention grabs? That's a good question. I actually don't. This is an evangelical thing that I don't get. Like, why are you telling your business in public like this? Here's the thing. There's a lot of couples sitting next to you in church who are both ran through. They just don't talk about it. Like a lot of, it's just the way it is. Like not everybody in church has been there the whole time. Like a lot of people did fucked up shit before they figured out it was a bad idea. And then they came to church. Like we get that, but we just don't need to fucking tell everybody about it, especially on the internet. Like this really, that's the other thing that I think is bothering people about this is it looks like an attention grab. It looks like they're trying to, monetize, attention. And I think some people are going to look at this and be like, well, fuck it. I could just do whatever I want. And then, there's always going to be like the Jesus parachute plan at the end. And it's like, fuck, man. That's not the takeaway I was hoping you would get from this. But why is the bride holding a picture of a folded up launch? Oh, shit. Oh, man. Oh, well, Alpha. That's good. Oh, no, this is a Protestant thing for sure. Yeah, I don't know what that is about. I don't know what's causing that. I'm not sophisticated. Hopefully on the panel show, we can get into this and maybe get some kind of feedback from my Protestant brothers and I can figure out what's going on here. Cause I haven't seen this as much in this narrative. And like, obviously like all the people coming out of the woodwork is a lot of the same accounts that post anti-Catholic content pretty regularly. We're also posting like pro-horror content. It's like, all right, dude. And I get it. Look, and I'm not saying no, look, I'm not making the argument that people are, beyond redemption, but let's be honest with people about how hard it is. Like, that's the issue, I think, is you're not telling that you're making it seem like you just convert and then that fixes everything. And it's like, it doesn't. And different people are going to be suited for different things. I think one of my objections here, and I think a lot of people feel this way, is that homie is a virgin. And he just doesn't. I think the likelihood that he has a high level understanding of what he's really getting into here is basically zero. And I think people have suggested that him posting about this so incessantly is him passive aggressively swatting and lashing out at her. And I think that could be true, that he actually is deeply upset by her past and just doesn't have a way to express that within the language of, hippy dippy redemption and whatever. And Jesus loves everybody. And so this is his way of kind of like punishing her through public humiliation, even though she seems to be cool with it. Like, she's talking about it publicly too. So Theo needs a cigarette after this. Yeah, dude. What I might need is one of these caffeine patches from Alp. Sponsor this half hour. The caffeine pouches. These are made out of green tea and yerba mate. They taste like peppermint. They're fucking sick. I feel like I'm on top of the world. One of these and a Celsius, and you can walk straight through a brick wall. They feel great. Apparently, they're anti-woke for some reason. I didn't know other pouches were woke. I didn't know there were woke pouches. I hadn't heard that. I don't know. This is something I was talking about with my friend, the Rational Female. Shout out Rational Female on YouTube. She's a cool chick. I was talking to her on X about how everything in America is a political binary for some reason. And now there's pouches. There's woke and anti-woke caffeine pouches, which is the most retarded shit I've ever heard in my life. I don't know why. It's just caffeine. I guess there's like woke and not woke places to get it. I don't know what that means. I guess this is made with the tears of immigrants and trans women. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea why this is anti-woke. I just wanted it. It tastes like peppermint, so I have no fucking idea. It's good. Let's see. My literal brother in Christ, what the fuck? Yeah, and I think part of it is like, what the fuck? Who says this publicly about their wife? And I think there's a lot of like factors to go into this. Like, obviously, I think this person is almost certainly like a bad faith actor and a grifter, and he's monetizing. He's definitely monetizing this, and he's doing the podcast circuit now. So he's leveraged, this story for attention, and it's not even his story. So I don't know. Now, again, she seems to be cool with it, but even so, it's like that. Yeah, porn addict who's making it. This guy's wife. Yeah. Yeah, and I think, well, for a lot of women that are, talking about this publicly, it's a lot of women who came from a promiscuous past, and that was their primary sin that they were recovering from in the church. And so I think they felt kind of triggered and they took it personally. And that's why they were coming at it that way. And to them, the men, it's always, anytime you're talking about, this is a part of the problem within Christianity, is anytime you talk about things women do wrong, there is a gaggle of men and women who come out and say, what about men though? Men also do bad things. And it's like, right, yeah, for sure, totally. But we talk about that 6 days a week. Like, we talk about that 97% of the time. We're talking about things men do wrong. We don't talk at all about women do wrong. And every time we do, there's 1,000 qualifiers about all the things men do. It's like, well, what about the men who consume the porn that the women make? It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I agree with you. That's I don't know if anyone on the internet talks as much about men needing to quit porn as I do. So I'm not like pro men using porn just because I'm like, women shouldn't make it. And this idea that, oh, it's just women who are hard financially on hard times. That's who makes it's like, no, a lot of women quit being like doctors and lawyers and accountants and whatever the fuck else to go do OnlyFans because it was easier and made more money for them. People did that. So now we know, women don't just choose prostitution when they don't have another choice. Sometimes women choose prostitution because it's just easier. It's just easier to make money on your back working 4 hours a week. It's just easier. Sometimes we'll just do the easier thing, By the way, men will also do the easier thing. See, even I'm doing it. I'm qualifying. Every time I say something true about you women, I will, subconsciously qualify and throw in something true about men too. And I don't think that's actually compassionate. I don't think it's actually compassionate. Just like it's not compassionate. It is true to say that radical religious transformation can redeem you from virtually anything. That's true. But it's also true to say that it's really hard to come back from stuff that you've done, and that it doesn't stop haunting you just because you had a radical religious transformation. Just because you regret it doesn't mean it goes away. And the temptations that I experience now are very different than the temptations I experienced when I was, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, for sure. I don't experience the same temptations that I did. That's true. But it's still, the stuff still it still fucks with me a lot. And I don't know. Here's the thing. Me saying I think you can recover your ability to form healthy relationships with people is based on I've seen other people do it. I don't know if I can do it. I still don't know for sure if I can do it. I mean, I've taken a couple runs at it, not successfully so far. I don't know if I still have that ability or that gear. And I don't know if the parts of me that are, biochemically supposed to form attachments with people, I don't know if that shit still works. I really don't. So we'll find out. I hope it does. It'd be sick if it did. But I really burnt out those reward pathways pretty significantly. And whether or not I can get that back is still kind of up in the air. So I wish people we got to be really honest with people about that. I think, hey, it's really fucking hard to come back. Even if you do find Jesus, it is really fucking hard to come back. It just is what it is. Don't bullshit about it. Rave culture. She's been gangbanged multiple times. Yeah. Gangbanged multiple times is kind of what I was thinking is, this probably, a lot of bodies and also group sex is what I would think. I don't know for sure. I don't know her story. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let's see. Jesus may give us the desire to change, but there are lingering consequences and shadows of the past that must be dealt with. Yeah, that's true. You have to, it's not a get out of jail free card. It doesn't wipe the slate clean. You still got to deal all that shit. Everything you do that fucks you up leaves a mark on you, and you have to deal with it. And it doesn't mean that you're like fucked forever, or that you're like dirty, or you're impure, or whatever. Or like, I'm not like, ultimately Christianity is a religion for losers. It's a religion for people who are fucked up. It's everybody is fucked up. So it's a religion for people who are fucked up. So it's not, I mean, again, in Holy Mother Church, we have the tradition of confession, which is based on the idea that at least once a month, you need to go tell somebody everything you fucked up, because you are fucking up with such a frequency that if you do not address it at least once a month, your soul is in mortal danger. Right? Because that's how frequently you're presumed to be fucking up. Right? So in the Protestant tradition, a lot of them, they did away with confession, which I think is a bad idea, because that means you just have to act right all the time. And if you don't act right, it's like, whatever, I guess you just take it straight to God, which to me is unsatisfactory. It's harder to tell a real person how you fucked up, but it's better, because sometimes getting that outside perspective, they can tell you, okay, well, you fucked up. This is how you do better next time. Get out there and get after it. And sometimes it can be helpful to get that real feedback from a real person. So it's also like a reminder that you're in a constant state of fucking up, and that even though perfection is the standard, it's not actually an achievable standard. But striving for an unachievable standard will make you better. So that's where that's coming from. I still think it fucking rocks, dude. I'm a big fan, but yeah, this is a big problem where we're not being honest, and we're way, way, way harder on men than we are on women in Christianity. And I think we're very focused on the things that men do wrong. The message men get is, you're fucked up, you need to do better, you need to man up and rise to the occasion. And the message that I think a lot of women get is, you're perfect the way you are, you just need to find a man that accepts you. And realizes your infinite perfection and pedestalizes you and acts as like a servant leader or whatever the fuck. And that's just like not super appealing to men. It looks like complete absence of masculinity. That's like not something a lot of men are going to want to sign up for. It's like, shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's just from like purely from a marketing perspective. Like, I'm pro-marriage. My platform's explicitly pro-marriage. Like, I say good things about marriage. I encourage people to get married within a religious context. I don't think secular marriage is a good idea, but I think religious marriage is a good idea. And shit like this does not help me make that case. When shit like this happens, can I tell you, the red pill guys like Myron Gaines and Andrew Tate and Rollo Tomasi, although I do like Rollo more than those other guys, to be honest, but those guys who have podcasts and big audiences, they have a fucking field day with shit like this because it makes Christian guys look super cucked. It makes marriage look like a terrible idea. It makes it look like this woman cheating on him is a virtual certainty. And I'm not even saying it is. Like, apparently she's been supposedly been faithful to him for many years, like 6 years or whatever. I don't know what number. I don't know their whole story. It's not really about these people. It's like, what I'm trying to say is like everybody who's been going to church for a while has seen a couple like this. Like, we've seen this play out before. Where she's ran through, he's not. I've been hit on by women in these types of marriages more than once, where the bad boys never proposed, so they married the safe guy, and they're out here drunk on a Wednesday night at a comedy show trying to fuck the comedian. Just saying, like, I've seen this shit play out in real life, and it isn't pretty. And red pill guys have a fucking field day with shit like this. And if your goal is to promote and grow Christianity and to save Christian marriage and to promote Christian marriage is a good idea, this ain't it, Chief. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, right? I don't even know why this is controversial. We're going to get to it in a second. We're still going through comments here, fellas. Be patient with me as I get through the comments. I still haven't even looked at the Instagram thread. Let's see. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, she's looking for her golden condom, like a golden parachute. Yeah, that's true. Promiscuous behavior leads to difficulty in pair bonding. Preach, brother. Yeah, that's just a fact, guys. That's just a fact. Like, I know it's like not nice to say, and it makes people who are currently being promiscuous feel bad. I understand that. Or people who have a promiscuous partner or a formerly promiscuous partner, it may make you feel bad to hear that. I bummed that it feels bad, dude. Sucks. It feels bad. But it's like, if I lied to you about that, I wouldn't be being honest with you, and I wouldn't be acting like somebody who loves you. Like, I'm telling you that because I love you. And I'm not telling you that because I think you're a bad person or because I hate you or because I think you're ran through or because I think you're a dirty whore. Unless that's what turns you on, then I will call you a dirty whore. No, I'm teasing. Kidding. That's a joke. Don't clip that. Do not clip that. I'm serious. I need you guys to stop clipping me out of context. You guys are clipping me out of context. You're making me sound gay and you're making me sound degenerate, and I need you to stop doing it. You guys keep sending me out of context clips. I don't like it. Let's see. Oh, he's on the podcast circuit. Yeah, we have our answer. And of course, she's cool with it. She's getting attention from it. Yeah, man, I think what we see a lot is these women who are former sex workers who become Christian influencers. What they're doing is they're trading one type of external attention and validation for another. And, like I said, a lot of people, and I wasn't the first one to point this out, shout out to Real Femme Sapien on Twitter. She pointed this out. A lot of people in the church are ran through. They just don't talk about it. They changed their whole life and they repented and they live a quiet family life now and they just don't fucking talk about it. Maybe it's beneficial. I don't know. I'm trying to maybe there is, if we're going to steel man the argument, it may be beneficial to talk about, hey, I lived a certain way. I changed my life, whatever. But getting into every gory detail to me doesn't seem necessary. Like, if you read the Confessions of St. Augustine, he's very clear that he committed sexual sin without getting into like a graphic level of detail. And he's very clear that it was bad and he changed his life and that he benefited from changing his life. So, and that was aligning himself with God was a better thing to do. So, and that's all without getting into like super graphic detail. So I think we should take our marching orders from St. Augustine, personally, or St. Augustine, however you want to say it. That's my opinion. So a lot of people benefit from that, I guess, to some degree. But I think this, to a lot of people, looks like just begging for attention online so that you can elevate your online profile and potentially monetize it. So I don't think this is, It looks like just attention seeking to me, and to a lot of people. And by the way, Christian influencers engaging in performative attention seeking does not promote Christianity because most people don't post things online. Most people just read, they interact with it, they scroll through it, they see it, and then they're like, no. And then this is the kind of shit that makes people not want to go to church. Just being real with you, this is the kind of shit that makes people not want to go to church. They think, ugh, gross. Ugh. I know too much about these people already. That's why I don't want to, and it's not really about these specific people. It's more about the discourse around these specific people and the part that they're not saying. It's like, how dare you say, and to be fair, to be absolutely perfectly fair to the people who are like dying on the hill of defending this woman and this guy who tweeted this, there were a bunch of people who tweeted like foul shit at them. That did happen. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like every critique of them was totally like fair and nuanced. It wasn't. Some of it was like really vile, and I don't support that. I don't think you should tweet vile things at people, but I do think we just like, I didn't want to, this is like way too much fucking information. I was like, oh, geez. And it's like, here's like, I did feel bad for the guy to a point until he just kept tweeting about it and kept tweeting about it and kept tweeting about it. And I kept learning more and more and more information. It's like, oh, you're just an attention whore then. Like, you don't care of the damage you're doing to Christianity and to marriage more broadly. You don't give a shit about that. You're just doing this to elevate your own personal brand. By the way, what does he do for a living? I'm glad you asked. He is a Christian social media influencer. So he has a company where he consults Christian social media brands to help them boost their online profiles, to help them get more reach. And in his defense, it does kind of seem like he's very good at getting a lot of reach. So crazy. Show us your browser history via virtue check. I could. I won't, but I could. I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident right now. I don't, not nearly to the extent that I used to. And that was crazy because it was like, I'll just be honest with you. The process of, actually, getting your life in alignment with virtuous values, it does take multiple years, and it's really fucking hard. Because at first I was like, stop fucking random girls. It's like, well, that's pretty easy. If you just don't have any dating apps and you just don't go anywhere and just don't go to bars, and you can just stop fucking random people, that's pretty easy, except for when they try to fuck you, then you got to learn to say no, and that's like the next step. And then I didn't even think I had a problem with porn at the time because it was like not obvious to me. It was not obvious to me that was like my main problem. It's like really easy. It's like, oh, this girl slashed my tires. It would be better if I hadn't had sex with her. It's pretty easy. It's pretty obvious. But the way porn gets you is insidious. The way it like saps you of your energy, and it like saps you of your drive, and it steals like time and energy and focus, and fucks with your hormones, and fucks with the way that your brain processes attraction. Like all that stuff is like, I never had any like erectile dysfunction or anything from that, but I know some guys do deal with that. I hadn't had that, but and quitting that is like when you quit porn, you get depressed for a while. Like it fucks you up like a little bit. Like it actually has like a dependency element with your brain, and it fucks up the way your brain processes dopamine. Like I have a couple of buddies who are going through this right now, and they told me, it's like, dude, it's like you enter this like depression. Now, I mean, it's kind of a blessing. And once you quit, it's like the longer you stay away, the easier it is to not go back, because it's just like not appealing anymore. It just like doesn't hit the same after a while. It becomes disgusting. You have a disgust reaction instead of an arousal reaction after a while, which is good, I think. And then you become way more interested in like real life women. A lot of you guys think you're getting old and you're just like using too much porn. Seriously, a lot of you guys who are 30 plus, you think you're slowing down, getting old. Actually, you just need to quit porn. That's it. Like your shit still works. That's real. And that is, and again, this takes multiple years of like trying and failing to like, and I'm still kind of like in the process. I wouldn't even say that like now, like fucking probably, what am I, like 5 years into this process? of, trying multiple different types of therapy, reading like dozens and dozens of books, like, quitting vices, like adopting new healthier habits, turning over my entire social circle, radical religious transformation, significant career change, like all of that, to get away from like bad habits. I still wouldn't say like, oh, I'm like awesome husband material now. And if I was like dating a woman and she was like, I think you're too ran through to marry, I think you're a cheating risk, and so I'm not going to marry you, I would be like, I totally understand why you'd say that. Like, I wouldn't be like, I mean, obviously I'd be disappointed. I'd be like, it's a bummer. But I'd be like, yeah, I get why she'd say that. I think she'd be well within her rights to say that, because I understand, like, I look at the data and I'm like, yeah, people who are ran through have a hard time maintaining stable relationships. It is what it is. Like, it's not great. It just is what it is. And so I think it's totally fine. On the other end, I think it's totally fine for dudes, especially dudes who are like virgins, to not want to marry a woman who's ran through, and then to look around and be like, there basically are no women who are not ran through. It's like, shit. Damn, what? Fuck. And for the women, the scolds on the internet who are, by the way, and this is like women who are like 30 plus scolding guys who are like 18 to 22, really is the conversation. So that's kind of fucked, right? But they're just like, how dare you, not want to marry the ran through cam girl, you dirty porn addict. And it's like, fuck, man. It's also, I gotta say, I do think it's your responsibility to fucking not eat the slop. I totally believe that. That being said, if you're like 18 to 22 now, your age of first exposure to hardcore internet pornography was probably like 10 or 11. And it was deliberately, it's been in your hand. Like, it's not like when we were young. When I was 13, I had to go on my fucking parents' computer and like really late at night and wait for the dial-up connection to hit and like download like one fucking video clip of a girl showing her boobs or whatever. And that was porn. That's not what it is now. It's like every hardcore perversion you could possibly imagine in their fucking pocket. And it's being pumped in there on purpose to try to make them weak, docile, and stupid. And it's made to be as like addictive as fucking possible. And that's where a lot of these young guys are like learning about sex, and their age of first exposure is so young. Like, I do think we need to have some grace for these young guys that are hooked on the shit, because they didn't have a chance. Like, almost as soon as they got out the door, they had porn shoved in their face, and it wasn't shoved in their face necessarily, it wasn't necessarily even because they sought it out. It might have been just like somebody showed them, like everybody knows that kid. Maybe his parents are going through a divorce. He's a little bit fucked up, spends a little bit too much time on the iPad. One thing leads to another. Whoop, there it is. And also, like, curiosity about the opposite sex when you're 10, 11, 12, 13 years old as a young man or young woman is normal. And what do you do when you're curious? You go to Google. You go to the internet. And the internet feeds you demonic slop. So, yeah, I think it is fair to be like, hey, probably 98% of men are addicted to porn. But are 98% of men, and I don't know what the actual percentage is, it's like 90+%, let's say, have like a dependency on porn where if they quit, their dopamine receptors would have to reset. They'd have some kind of physical reaction. I don't know what the actual percentage is, but it's pretty much all of us at this point, right? Have either are currently hooked on it or were hooked on it at some point, right? Is that because like 98% of men are like morally defective? Or is that because we've had like slop pumped into our brains on purpose to try to undermine us, to try to rob us of our energy? Do you think or to try to profit, at the very least, to try to profit off of us, even if there's not some kind of like larger scheme to make us like docile and compliant, at the very least to try to profit off of us, right? So yeah, I mean, I think we gotta have, if we're gonna have grace for women who are ran through because they came up in a culture that told them that being ran through was the same as being liberated, it was a good empowering thing to do, to be ran through, then which I think is fair. I think it's fair to have grace for women that were brought up in this fucked up culture that was like not honest with them about how to optimize for happiness and stable relationships. I think it's fair to have some grace for them for that. Then we also need to have grace for some of these young guys who are like severely addicted to porn because it's been like pumped into their brain from the time they were very young. That doesn't mean they should keep doing it, right? But just like have some grace for how we got in this situation in the first place, I think is fair. I think that's fair. And it's crazy to be like, and the reaction, this knee-jerk reaction we're seeing from a lot of men where it's like, well, fuck it. I don't even want to get married then. Fuck, if that's what I got to do, fuck this shit. They're being like, you have to marry a whore or you're a dirty porn-addicted deviant. Fuck you, you worthless. It's like, dude, chill out. Chill out. Just chill out. Everybody's making so a bunch of things can be true at the same time. One, it can be totally fair that these dudes who are sexually frustrated, who are being told how garbage they are all the time, you know, who are dealing with the downstream effects of being in a culture that demonizes them and tells, you know, women how great they are. And they're having images of like wealthy OnlyFans whores, you know, circling their feeds all the time. It's totally fine for them to be like, I don't want to marry a woman like that. That's fine. It's also fine for a woman who's ran through to be like, I would like to become a Christian now. This whole being ran through thing is not what it's cracked up to be. Because I agree, is I did that. So I can't, you know, I would not begrudge anyone else the opportunity to do the same and seek salvation or seek redemption from the Christian religion. I wouldn't begrudge anyone else the right to do that. But it's also fine to say, because of the history that I've had, if a woman who's been in the church her whole life and is a virgin doesn't want to marry me, that's fine. That's probably a good choice, actually, for her. That would probably be a bad pairing. I should probably marry somebody who's also retired from being ran through. Like, that would probably be a better fit. You know what I mean? Because you would be pretty ran through to be as ran through as I. Even, like, there are, like, I've met, like, ran through women who are, like, not even close to as ran through as me. And so I'm like, cool. All right, well, that's fine. Because I'm still me at the end of the day. Like, I'm not really that worried about it. I care a lot more about, like I said, for me, it's a lot more about what are you doing lately, right? But also, like, I understand women, and I think a lot of virgin dudes don't understand women, and I think their naivety about women is part of why these women with a lot of bodies and a lot of, you know, this vast sexual past. I think that's part of the reason they choose these less experienced guys is because they don't know a lot about women, because they're less experienced. They can kind of occupy a position of relative power in the relationship, and they can exercise a lot of like control through sex because they understand men a lot better than this man understands women. And he's kind of a goober and just like doesn't really know things. And I don't know if that applies to this particular guy necessarily. Remember, I'm talking about this relationship dynamic more broadly, which a lot of us, if you've been in the church, a lot of us have seen this, right? A lot of us have seen this. So that's totally fair. Like both, like everybody's got a point here. And by the way, it could also be true that this particular married couple are grifters who are causing damage to the public image of Christianity more broadly for the sake of elevating their own brand. That is all can be true at the same time, you know, and we could just have a new, and nobody has to be like like an evil demonic porn addict or anything. Like nobody has to be any of that. Oh man, it can be good. You could want this guy, you could want desperately for this guy to shut up and, you know, not be an evil misogynist, you know. I think, and this is kind of my more, what I hope is like a more nuanced take. But yeah, this kind of shit is like a horrible for Christianity's brand. Let's see. The women saying that men are the reason they're doing porn is classic accountability dodging. They do porn because it's easy and lucrative. They're not victims. Yeah, they absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not buying that for a second. They do it because it's easy and lucrative and they make a lot of money. And now, again, it's true. Most women don't make a lot of money. Most women who start OnlyFans make barely any money, blah, blah, blah. A lot of times it's not what it's cracked up to be. But a lot of times they go down that road because they think there's easy money there. So it's not, very rarely is it because it's like I had no other choice. I was like destitute on the street. I had to, you know, stick a flashlight in my butt and put it on camera. This is never the case. They like it. They do it because they like it. And that's okay. They do it because they like it. Let's just be honest about it. Let's be honest about it. Nobody's a victim here. Everybody's accountable for their choices. Because I'm not buying this whole, women are perpetual victims and only men have agency. It's like, I don't buy that. I go back and forth on that. Sometimes I think that. There have been times, even on this show, where I've thought that. I just don't think so. That's not how Jesus dealt with women. Jesus, I think, dealt with women. He told them the same thing he told everybody else: go forth and sin no more. So I think he operated under the assumption, if Jesus operates under the assumption that women can make choices that are qualitative, in other words, they can make some choices that are better and some choices that are worse, then I'm going to operate under that same assumption. I do think women can make choices. And if women can make choices, then they're accountable for their bad ones. And I know that's like evil misogyny, right? But here's the thing. You can't, you're not gonna get men to come back to church if you're not gonna be honest about the ways that the culture is like fucked up right now. And one of the ways that it's fucked up is like letting women off the hook at every possible opportunity. Like, that is just a thing that's happening. It's a huge bummer. It's a huge bummer. I wish it weren't true. Like, I don't like doing that. You think I like the fact that you think I like doing this? I hate it. I hate talking about it, but it is what it is, and I think telling the truth is more important than, being popular or being well liked. So, dude, watching porn is inherently being cucked, or watching people who are 100% disinterested in you bang while you blast rope in the corner. That's actually a hilarious and highly accurate way to put it. It is inherently cucked to watch porn. It's inherently it's like you're putting yourself in the cuck chair. So don't fucking do it, dude. It's robbing you of energy that you need to go out there and fuck shit up. So it's because the world is a hard place. It's like, if you want to like not be depressed and like have dopamine to go out there and fucking do difficult shit, then fucking get caffeine pouches from Alp. All right. I really want a sponsor, guys. And it could be Alp or Celsius or whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit who sponsors me. I just need somebody to sponsor me to make this shit work. God damn, it has been a tough month to keep the lights on over here at Theo Snodgrass Inc. I just got off the road. I don't go on the road again until April. So it's like, in the short term, I gotta forgive me, Lord. I am evil and retarded. Yeah, big time. That's a prayer I say almost every day. Forgive me, Lord, for I am evil and retarded. I got that from a buddy of mine who's in the Orthodox Church, which is hardcore and very macho. At least it's my perception of it from the outside. I love the Orthodox Church. We're kissing cousins with the Orthodox Church. We've got cross-platform compatibility with them on a lot of things. So shout out the Orthodox Church. We love you guys. Glad we don't have to fight them anymore. That's all I'll say. Glad we don't have to fight them, because they are some bad motherfuckers over there. And they are really doing good promoting virtue, especially among men. So good. They're doing good work for the most part. We can fight about purgatory later. That's what I think. We can fight about purgatory when all the child sacrifice stops. That's what I say. So love is telling the truth. Yeah, but it doesn't make you popular. And that's something I'm dealing with right now. It sucks because, like, something I deal with is like, I think my Facebook following and my YouTube following and my Rumble following and my Instagram following basically have zero overlap with each other. So I don't know. So when I say things that are like Christian and conservative ostensibly, then my like leftist followers freak out. It's a huge bummer, even though I don't consider myself, I'm not a political conservative. I'm a Catholic. So I just try to make the world as more Catholic to the best of my ability. That's what I do. And I try to use my voice to make the world more Catholic to the best of my ability. So I don't give a fuck about political parties or any of that shit. But when you tell people, hey, don't be ran through and get married and have children and be a contributing member of your community and stop using porn, for some reason, like the degenerate left freaks out about that. So promiscuous behavior includes porn use. I'll die on this hill. Yeah, it actually does. It's really bad. Well, the Catholic Church is really clear about that. You shouldn't fucking use porn. But I mean, not everybody agrees with that. Like, I know Jews don't really give a shit about porn. So let's see. Best sex I've ever had with my wife was post porn. Bro, girls have boobs. Based. Hold on. Vagabond is here. Speaking of porn use, Vagabond is here. Just got home from hanging out with Vaughn Coleman in my area. Wow, Based. Shout out Vaughn Coleman, friend of the channel. And happy to see Vagabond. Go ahead and subscribe to Runaway Vagabond. He does a podcast called I Swear It's Not Hentai over on his show, over on his channel. Very good show. Go ahead and subscribe over there. Good show. I'm on there sometimes. Let's see what else we got. Could get into the trades or amateur colonoscopy at OnlyFans. Yeah. Theo, what is your opinion on those elected versus invincible ignorance in Catholicism? Oh, good question. I will have to look at that before I say something stupid about it on air. I'm going to look that up. I'll have an answer for you next time. Yeah, I'll look that up. Anyway, let's go ahead and go over to Instagram. I have Instagram chats. Cool. All right, sick. Let's see. It does. This is true for people who are strippers. I don't know what that's about. Damn it. I don't know what that's in reference to. Damn it. For marriage, what are the sins that are okay? So sodomy is the line of unacceptable sins. Is it also unacceptable for a man to do so, or is the level of sin based on sex? All right, so you can marry whoever you want. That's my opinion. I don't know if Cedric is still here. Damn it. It's too bad. Yeah, you can marry whoever the fuck you want, man. What I would say is this: if you are a promiscuous person, that is going to interfere with your ability to form and maintain stable relationships. And that is true of men, and that is true of women. That is a human reality that the more, and that is backed up by, that's not just like, Jesus speak, that's backed up by all the science and the data that we have on this from studying attachment demonstrates that. So it's not impossible, by the way. It's not impossible. There are a lot. All of us know people who are ran through who eventually found the right person and fixed their shit, or they did the work to fix their shit. Here's the issue with it. Okay, this is why. See, how would I put this? Basically, reprogramming your brain from being promiscuous to being happy in a marriage isn't impossible, but it's so hard, most people won't do it. And people, men and women, only do hard things when they have no other choice. People don't do hard things if they can at all avoid it. Like quitting caffeine is hard. I chose not to do that. I chose to use Alp caffeine pouches. Sponsor this half hour. Right. I drink Celsius every day when I wake up. Because waking up on your own, if I went 2 days without caffeine, I could probably wake up on my own and function totally fine without caffeine. I choose not to because that would be hard. Right. And I don't have to. See what I'm saying? People do hard things when they don't have another choice. And a lot of people who are ran through, especially women, can usually find some guy with limited sexual experience to want to marry them, regardless of whether or not they've done the work to reprogram their brain. So they'll only work hard if they have to, if they don't have any other choice. And this is true. Men are like this too. So, now a lot of times people who are ran through, when they do get married, they end up cheating for that exact reason. Even though somebody took a chance on them and said, hey, well, I believe you. I believe that you're changed. They end up not being changed. Because it's like harder than it's harder than just like saying that you want to change. Because like old habits die hard. Yeah. It's just old habits die hard. It just is what it is. Like you get locked into a certain way of doing things. And it's very, very hard to change that way. So for instance, so as far as the question of like what sins are acceptable for marriage, and is it just sexual or whatever? It's like, bro, very wherever the fuck you want. I'm like I said, I'm not that shallow about body count myself because I don't know. I care a lot more about what you've done lately. Like a lot of people, like I was raised in the same fucked up culture. Like I was there. I was raised too as a millennial to believe like doing whatever feels good is what's good to do. Whatever feels good is cool. Do whatever you want sexually and it's totally fine and there are no consequences. And sex is basically a handshake as long as you're safe about it. It's like a high five between friends. Who cares? And I don't believe that about sex anymore. I believe sex is like a really powerful spiritual thing that has a designated purpose. And the purpose is to bring you closer to your wife and to, make babies and whatnot. And that I think that's like the most ordered way to incorporate your sexual impulses into your life is in the context of marriage. That's what I think now. I didn't think that when I was younger. Now I was brought up in a culture that told me something very different. And a lot of the women that I could potentially be dating who are single right now were brought up in that same culture. And they might be ran through because of that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, I am kind of willing to extend some grace on that to a degree. I am. And so but that's also because like my journey has come with a lot of experience and I kind of like understand how women are. And I think the issue is a lot of these women who have, especially the women who have the past of like being professionals, because I'm talking about like an amateur who's ran through. I'm talking about like a girl who, maybe, had a tough couple of years in college and then leveled out. You know what I mean? Who said, hey, this isn't really what I'm about, and then changed her ways. But we're talking about now, especially we're talking about these girls, these high profile examples of women that were like professional sex workers at one point who ended up marrying dudes who are virgins, who are just kind of goobers, who just like don't really understand women. It does. I think if you're a person who understands male-female dynamics a little bit, what you see is a slanted power dynamic where this woman is, whether she's doing it or not, she's able to control this guy using sex, because whatever sex they have is going to be the best sex he's ever had. She knows what good sex is like. He doesn't. He just like, wow, golly gee willikers. Like that girl is his whole heart, his whole world, his whole soul. He's got her on a pedestal. He can't see her flaws. Like, to me, all the shine has worn off with women. I just see they shit and fart and puke and bleed just like every other fucking human being on planet Earth. I look at a woman and I see a person. And I don't mean that in like a derogatory way. It's just I don't see like a magical fairy creature who's here to solve all my problems. I don't see an evil demon who's here to take my alimony checks. I see a fucking person like me, who's done dumb shit, just like me, who makes dumb choices. She might have a little bit different relationship with her emotions than I do, right? And she might have a little bit less upper body strength than I do, okay? But at the end of that, she may be a little worse at parallel parking. She might have some scrapes on the hubcaps, right, that I don't have, right? But at the end of the day, that's a person. That's not a magical fairy creature. That's a fucking person, and she's totally capable of fucking up just like I am. And so, all right, well, we're two fucked up people who are going to do the best we can to try to stay on the right track. And I'm going to try to help you and you're going to try to help me. And then that's that. And as long as you're in it, I'm in it and we'll be loyal. And that's what it is. Like I don't see it like, but if you're like, golly gee willikers, and you've got your like fucking former porn star wife on a fucking pedestal, first of all, I do agree with the people who say that those dudes have unaddressed feelings of resentment and jealousy towards their wife's previous sexual history, because look, and this is another unspoken thing. It's another thing that's not nice to say, but I am going to say it because this is a podcast where we tell the truth. The kind of wild, crazy, enthusiastic sex she was having when she was getting ran through is way different than the sex she's having in marriage. A lot of times the women that are wildly promiscuous, they eventually kind of, their attitude towards sex itself changes a lot. Like they're just like it's not just that they're way less attracted to their husband than they were like if on an animalistic level than they were animalistically attracted to these dudes when they were getting ran through by the Los Angeles Lakers in a hotel lobby or whatever. I don't know why they're in the lobby. There's rooms in the hotel. At the Holiday Inn Express, let's say. I don't know why the Lakers are at the Holiday Inn Express. They should be at the Hilton. Anyway, she's getting ran through by the Los Angeles Lakers at the Hilton. And then she's like animalistically attracted to that. And then she gets to her like dorky fucking husband. It's like fucking Butters from South Park. Or fucking Ned Flanders. And she's like, whoa, golly gee. Like she's just not going to be as horny for that guy. And also that guy doesn't know how to fuck at all because it's like, unless she teaches him, he's not going to know shit, right? So she's got her reward centers are like fucking blasted out from this shit. And so it's like she's not going to be coming at it with the same enthusiasm or whatever. She's like, oh, that was great, honey. Yeah. But in her mind, she's still got all the memories of all this other stuff. And that's going to fuck with her a little bit. And that doesn't mean you can't overcome that. You can absolutely overcome that. I got the same shit fucking with me. You know? Like it's hard. Like when I see like a woman at church who's like veiled and like dressed modestly, it's like, God, there's a part of me that's like, man, you'd look a lot better with a neck tattoo. And I don't mean it really. But that voice, that evil voice is like, wouldn't you rather be fucking a stripper? Yes, of course, evil voice, but shut up. I'm trying to have a family someday. Of course, it's still there. It's just I have practice telling it to shut up now. That's what it is. Like, that doesn't go away. So I think I'm just like, that's the thing that I think the guy who's a virgin doesn't understand, is that the extent to which that sexual history changes a person. And that doesn't just go away when you have like a radical religious transformation. A lot, it changed it, that's why I'm not really like me personally, and this is like a lot of guys may feel differently than this. I'm not really looking for like a virgin. Why? Well, because I'm 34 years old. It's like if I meet a 34-year-old virgin, she's gonna be like fucking weird or autistic, or she's been like, not that there's anything wrong with autistic, but shout out the autistic queens. We love you. But like, I mean, like, engineer autistic, not like, love on the spectrum autistic. You know what I mean? I could be fine with that. I do well with female engineers, actually. Like, I do really well with them. So, I'm not like looking like what fucking like probably young end 25, old end like 35. So like 25 to 35. Like any woman who's a virgin at that point is going to be like a fucking weirdo, or she was like trapped in a bunker or something. You know what I mean? So it's like she's going to have some mileage on her at some point, It's like, I think I personally probably wouldn't want to deal with a person who is like a professional in any capacity in that domain, because I've dealt with those girls before and I kind of have an understanding of the kind of baggage that comes with that. And that's like not really what I want to do. But I don't mind if a girl is like, I made choices that I wouldn't make now at a previous point in my life, because I also made choices previous point in my life that I would not make now. Like, if you've demonstrated a consistent change in a pattern of behavior, I don't have a problem with that. Like, I'm not one of these people that's like, once you're ran through, it's over. But like, we got to be honest with people about how fucking difficult it is to make meaningful life changes. We got to be honest with people. And like, you could scream from the rooftops that Jesus changed your life. And I believe you. That's awesome. I'm glad that happened for you. But like, let's be honest about how difficult it is. Let's do it. Let's be honest. That's what I'm asking. And that's what I think is being lost in this conversation. And also like the marketing. Oh, hold on. We got more people in the chat. What's up, everybody? The key to kicking energy drink devil is water. Flush it out of your system. Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, I'm in Las Vegas, so I really can't drink soda during the summer out here. I have to drink water or bubbly water. You have to drink water, because otherwise you get too dehydrated too quickly, because it's just so fucking hot. And my complexion is not built for it. I blame video games. Yeah, goddamn. Thank God for video games, by the way. So I think a lot of these cats out here would not have made it if they didn't have video games. Truly. I mean, because school was excruciating for a lot of young guys coming up. We don't talk about that enough. We do on this channel, but probably not in other places. By the way, I recently played Doom for the first time on PlayStation 4. So much fun. Just mindless violence. Mindless violence. I enjoy it so much. I'm not a big video games guy, as you know, but I played Doom. And it was just like the demons just exploding everywhere is so satisfying. It's, man. Nothing wrong with weirdos. Based. Shout out Jason, friend of the channel. Nothing wrong with being trapped in a bunker either. Yeah, dude, I might need one of these bunker bitches. Dude, all these girls are like fucking TikTok brained, man. All of them are TikTok brain, and they're not all TikTok brains. I don't want to paint with too broad of a brush. I think, can I tell you guys, I'm a little bitter because, I went on a road trip recently. I was on tour in the Northwest. I hit a lot of great locations. I did 6 shows in 4 different cities in a 2-week period. So And I got to see my parents while I was up there, and I got to see my friends while I was up there. So it was a really, really pleasant little period, but just a little kind of like a mini tour. That's what I can afford right now at this point where I'm at with the business. That's kind of what I can afford as far as, cost benefit and profitability and travel and stuff like that. So it was really, really fun. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. But on that trip, I had 4 different women make passes at me who all had like husbands or boyfriends. And that fucked me up a little bit because it's this like instinct towards hypergamy, which is a real thing that women have that makes them want to go for a higher status guy, even if it's just perceived higher status, even if it's just short term. And we're seeing this with like clavicular now, where every stream, half the girls on his party bus or whatever the fuck have boyfriends, and he's like exposing them. Or like there was one where it was like a woman was cheating on her husband or whatever. And that kind of shit, when you see it a lot, is just demoralizing. And here's the thing, if it was just on the internet, I'd be like, oh, well, that's not real life. But I see it in real life too. And it's fucking, women will hit on you and her husband be standing right fucking behind her. That is demoralizing. That makes you kind of like, and that kind of shit is why I'm concerned about marrying a woman with a certain sexual history. Because I've met women that had a certain sexual history, and then they married a guy with a lot less experience because he was the safe choice. And then they just embarrass him by either cheating on him or hitting on other men. And I don't know that she necessarily cheated, but I've seen them definitely. Well, some of them I know for a fact they cheated. I was there. I witnessed it. Arguably participated in it. Anyway, like I said, I made choices in the past I wouldn't make now. But, I've seen it. I've seen women who were not, quote unquote, satisfied in their marriages seek out, outside help, so to speak. Because, and that's a real thing. And it's like, I don't think there's any way you can like perfectly protect yourself from that. Like, that's where I think the red pill fucks up, is that they're like, well, if you follow this philosophy, you never have to ever get hurt ever again. And it's like, bro, at the end of the day, like, the reason I'm not controlling in relationships, because like, she's going to make the choices she's going to make. There's no amount of control you can exert that's going to make her not cheat on you if she wants to cheat on you. Yeah. It's, you know what I mean? Like, she's going to do what she's going to do. So you give her as much or as little freedom as you want. Like, she's going to do what she's going to do regardless. So it doesn't matter if you could be as controlling as you want. You could be hyper controlling with a woman who's not going to cheat on you, and she's not going to cheat on you. You could be super lax with a woman who's not going to cheat on you, and she's not going to cheat on you. So it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, if she's going to cheat, she's going to cheat. That's just how the game goes. And she's going to find a way. And there's too many ways now where it's too easy, because you're not going to follow her to the grocery store. You're not going to follow her to Pilates. You're not going to follow her to the gym. You can check her Instagram, but then it's like, how do you know she doesn't have another Instagram or another Instagram? How do you know she's not going through a friend? How do you know she's not using a texting app? How do you know she's not? There's too many ways now with the phones for it. She wants to cheat, she's going to find a way. There's no way, unless you make it your full-time job, 80 hours a week, try to make sure this woman doesn't cheat. And by the way, what's the point of even being in that relationship at that point? If it's a full-time job to stop her from cheating, that girl just don't like you. That girl don't like you. So this is why I say you got to date a girl who likes you, and not just like the hottest girl you can convince to marry you. Because the hottest girl you can convince to marry you, that you got to chase and chase and chase, and then she goes with you, she probably is attracted to dudes way hotter than you, and she probably thinks she can get those dudes, and she's going to be kind of like resentful at you and like fucking want those dudes. Whereas if you get a girl who likes you, she feel like she reached up and grabbed you. She feels like she scratched that hypergamy itch. You know what I mean? Because she reached up and grabbed you. You were something that she wanted, that she got to have. Oh, yes, I got what I wanted. Yay. That's why I say that, because that woman is going to be a lot more likely to invest in you, stay loyal to you, and want to do work to retain you, more so than a woman that you have to, beg and plead for her to give you the time of day. You know what I'm saying? Is that woman, here's like, if a woman actually likes you, it's just not going to be that hard. Like, fucking ask the fucking, I happen to know some dudes in this very chat who are married who know good and hell well that if a woman wants you, she's going to go out and get you. Without naming names. I fucking know that as a fact. Yeah. And that's better for long-term relationship stability. If the woman feels like she got the guy she wanted. Really. And then and here's the thing, it's really, as a guy, we just like women that are like, we just like sexy women. So the woman you like is like, a lot of times you think you like her, but you just like her because she's pretty. If you get a woman who's showing up consistently, making your life better in a significant way, it's really hard to not like her. You're gonna start to like her a whole hell of a lot if she's showing up for you consistently, and every time she appears, your life gets better. It's like, wow, it's hard to not like a woman like that. You know what I mean? It's really hard to not like a woman like that. You know, that's hard. I mean, some guys figure out a way, but like if she's like attractive and nice to you and she makes your life better pretty consistently, you're going to like her. And and if you like her, you're going to want to do good stuff for her. So it creates this like positive feedback loop of she does nice things for you, you like her, you do nice things for her, she likes you, you do nice things for her, and then you get out of this like constant power dynamic of like, you know, this like anxious avoidant tap dance that a lot of people think relationships are now, where you're just constantly trying to stop them from cheating or whatever. And a girl like that is like not gonna cheat on you. So, or she might. I mean, again, anybody could do anything, right? Anybody could do anything. There's no perfect system. Anybody could do anything, and people fuck up sometimes. So there's no perfect system, but like that, it's way better to get somebody that's kind of balanced from you. You have significant differences in like sexual experience that creates friction within a relationship. Okay. And that's just a fact. Like, it's not misogyny to say that if there's a significant disparity in sexual experience, that can create friction within the relationship. That's like a normal, just like observable fact about reality. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. You know, it can work. And I think it works better though if the dude is ran through and the woman is less experienced. I do, because men, for better or for worse, men find women's promiscuity kind of viscerally disgusting at like a gut level, and women do not feel that way about men's promiscuity. They view it. A lot of women feel like past promiscuity makes a man more attractive, not less. Just how it is. Just how it is. Like, and that's like, well, that's not fair. I don't give a fuck about fair, man. I'm just telling you the truth about how most people most of the time function. I'm just saying what's true. You can do whatever you want with the information. Like, and I'm not saying if you're like a promiscuous chick, you can't figure it out. Like, honestly, there's plenty of dudes. I have seen no evidence that women's past promiscuity is any meaningful deterrent from them getting married. I've seen no evidence of that, despite what the internet will tell you. All these like ran through bitches keep getting married and having fucking Riley Reid has like 3 kids now. Fucking Mia Khalifa has kids now, and she's been divorced 3 times, but she initiated all of them, so she's like happy with it, I guess, or whatever. Like, I mean, it seems like I don't see any evidence that past promiscuity inhibits a woman's ability to get married. But, you know, whether or not you can like pair bond and have a stable, fulfilling, happy relationship, that depends on how much work you're willing to do. You know, that's going to be on you. So, I mean, that doesn't have a thing to do. But as far as like, are men going to try to marry you? It's like, yeah, are you hot? Then yes, men will try to marry you. Oh, but I'm a single mom. Yeah, hot dudes will still try to marry you if they think you're hot. Just like all this shit that Red Pill says is like mostly cope for their followers. So I've seen zero evidence that a decently attractive women have any trouble getting married, regardless of what dumb shit they've done in their lives or what problems they have. Oh, but I'm severely mentally ill. If anything, that's a selling point for some guys. Let's just be honest, bros. That psych word pussy hits different, don't it? We know it does. We know it does. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Oh, a 34-year-old female virgin is like fighting a pre-war cake in Fallout. Yeah, big time. big time. That's like nobody. And it's usually you're a fucking weirdo at that point. Like it's not, not by choice. Fun fact, Doom Guys is illegal for the papacy according to lore. No, I was eligible for the papacy according to lore. No shit. Oh, no shit. That's cool. He should be the Pope. Doom Guy for Pope. Outside help meaning your dick. Yes. Yes, there were those women were seeking some outside help in their marriage. Yeah, that's why honestly, it's like the amount of women I've seen cheating on their safe guy. It's crazy. One woman in particular, I was at a comedy show one time and I did pretty well. And I was sitting at the table with this woman and her husband, and she was telling me the whole story of how they got together. And he was like the safe guy who was always her friend in high school, whatever. So when she was done getting ran through and pubbed and dubbed by the guys who were past, she married him. And then she's out here. She gave me her phone number. I did not ask for her phone number. She just gave it to me. And she was just all over me and like whatever, right in front of her fucking husband. And I didn't know, man. Like I like always like, here's the thing. I knew prior to that I knew women cheated on their husbands in private. I didn't know they did it like right in their fucking face like that. And I've seen that kind of behavior enough now that has really demoralized me on like, it's where you got, this is what I'm saying. You got to make sure you marry a woman who likes you, not just a woman that you like. And I'm not that you shouldn't like a woman who likes you, but like, you got to marry a woman who likes you. Like she's got to be into it, and not just putting up with you. Like she has to like you, or it's not going to work. Just from what I've seen. And it's so easy now for infidelity to happen that if you want to have a marriage that's stable and does not include infidelity, you have to actually be vigilant about it. And I don't mean vigilant in the sense of like policing your partner's behavior. I mean, you got to police your own behavior, and she's got to be doing the same thing. And you got to just agree with that. And people used to make fun of, well, they call it different names for it, but like the Pence rule or the Billy Graham rule or whatever. For those of you that don't know, Billy Graham was a TV pastor, TV preacher. And he had this rule where he didn't have dinner with women who were not his wife, and he didn't take elevators with women who were not his wife, and he didn't go anywhere where alcohol was served without his wife or whatever. Like he had all these rules basically, and people say that, oh, well, he's just saying he doesn't have any self-control. It's like, no, he's a person who's very high profile, and rumors destroy reputations. And he doesn't want to put himself, he's like, if the line for where infidelity happens is here, I'm going to draw the line here. So I'm not even within spitting distance of infidelity. Like if I go to a party where alcohol is served without my wife and I get drunk and another lady gets drunk and we hook up in an elevator, infidelity happened, right? But if I don't even go to that party, there's no chance, right? So he's taken a wide berth where he's going way around any potential infidelity. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, people make fun of him for that. But I think in today's day and age, where it's like, where infidelity is so accessible because of social media and dating apps and stuff like that, I think it's totally fine to just have a very, very, very wide berth around anything that could be considered improper, especially if you're going to be a public person where rumors can spread so quickly and be destructive. Even within small communities, rumors can spread really quickly. You got to be careful, even if you're like talking to somebody too long or whatever, especially because relationships being as unstable as they are and women being as flighty as they are. And it's like, I don't think that's innate. I don't think all women are like that or have always been like that or whatever. I just think it's a product of the way the culture is now. Relationships are a lot more unstable. And knowing that if you want to have a stable relationship, I think it makes sense for both of you to police your own behavior, like really extensively. I think you have to. And part of that is like vetting the person you marry in the first place and being like, hey, are we on the same page about this? Because I take relationships seriously. You got to marry somebody who also takes relationships seriously, not just somebody who wants to get married to have a wedding. And there's plenty of like millennial and Gen Z chicks out there who just want to have a big wedding because they want a day that's all about them, as if every day is not already all about them. Anyway, I don't even want a virgin. I don't want someone who's ran through. It's that simple. That's very simple. That's very reasonable. And that's Strider saying that. And Strider, by the way, is not ran through himself. Right? He's not ran through, and he doesn't want to marry somebody who's also not ran through. And by the way, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's okay to want someone that's not ran. That doesn't make you an evil, porn addicted psychopath. To just not want, you know what I mean? And this message that we're giving men in Christian marriage discourse right now, that if you want to marry a woman who's not literally a sex worker, or if you think that, you know, if you want to marry someone that somehow makes you evil, is delusional. It's delusional. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. You can have whatever standards you want to have. That's fine. Like, you know, that's normal. It's actually normal. We're just in a culture right now where having any kind of standards for women is considered rude or misogynistic or something, which is crazy because we have tons of standards for how men are supposed to what qualifies a man for a relationship. We have basically zero for what qualifies women for a relationship. I am the table. It's like, dude, and here's the thing. Different dudes have different standards. So I don't think there's any one size fits all thing. I think there's general rules that you should stick to for sure. But I don't know if there's like any one size fits all thing. Let's see. Jokes aside, I think that it comes down to his communication, IMO, in all stages of relationships. Talking with your partner regularly will help you understand where the two of you are. Yeah, that's super fucking important. And I don't think we do a lot of talks about relationship maintenance. And what it takes to actually not just secure, but maintain a good relationship. We don't talk about that nearly enough. All the discourse right now is about like dating and like spitting plates and how to maintain a roster and how to, you know, manipulate the other person into doing what you want with minimal investment. And that's for men and women. We talked about on the show before how a lot of the men giving advice to men about, you know, disregarding women are clearly closeted. A lot of the women giving advice to women about how to get things out of men are clearly prostitutes. And so we got like closeted men giving advice to men and prostitutes giving advice to women. And the advice is just fuck over everybody as much as possible. And we have like no discourse about how to form stable relationships and maintain them. We have zero on that. Not zero, but basically zero. And that's crazy. We got to fix that, man. We got to fix that. Let's see. You're welcome, Jason. Let's see. Beta in an open relationship. Yeah, that happens. That happens. RIP the homie. Speaking of Mia Khalifa, I'm pretty sure she can't go back into the home country without fear of a quick rooftop tour. Compare that to the happy couple of the first story. Yeah, big time. Big time. Let's see. Billy Graham, armored warfare engagement, onion theory in action. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Armored warfare. Yeah, basically. So if I draw the line way the fuck up here, right? If infidelity's down here and I draw the line way the fuck up here, we're never even going to get close because you're not going to get through my first 17 layers of defenses against infidelity happening. And on top of that, you have my personal desire to not commit infidelity because my desire to stay faithful to my wife supersedes all these other things, right? So, but yeah, that's like, people don't understand that. They're like, oh, you can't control yourself. You can't control yourself. Wow. It's like, no, I'm evil and retarded. Remember, Lord, forgive me for I'm evil and retarded. You just got to remember everyone has flawed human nature, including you. You are capable of committing a life ruining sin today. It could happen. And if you really believe that, then in Catholicism, we're supposed to avoid the near occasion of sin, right? We're supposed to be anywhere where we could get close to sinning. We're not supposed to be, right? Same deal. Same deal. So, yeah, let's see. Hi, what is this? Yash7297. What's up, homie? How you doing? Happy to see you. I'm glad somebody's in the Kick chat. You know, I have 27 followers on Kick. I don't know. I hardly ever see anybody in the kick chat, which is great. I get a bunch of views on Rumble considering how few Rumble chats I get. So I don't know what that's about. Apparently Rumble viewers are very, very, very popular over on Rumble, but relatively silent. So let's see. Lord God Almighty is coming soon. Repent, ask Christ into your heart to be born again. Depression, emptiness of soul, fear of death, gone. True love, hope, peace, joy, and eternal life found. King James, John 3, 3-7. Thank you, Dom. You must be new here. We I appreciate it, man. Yeah, so we're very pro Jesus here. So good stuff. Good stuff, man. Appreciate it. The problem with Christian culture is we don't believe women can sin. I'll talk about that more this weekend. Hell yeah, we're going to talk about that. Like I said, we're going to do a panel discussion where we talk about this more broadly. Let's see. Okay, we don't have any more Instagram chats. That's good. I hate it. It sucks. Like talking about these issues is very challenging for me because it's just a fact that I'm going to be misunderstood a lot. It sucks. Like anytime you're talking about things that women do wrong, you're suddenly in the box with the misogynist. Although I asked Grok about this and I was like, basically it said that that red pillars would criticize me for being too soft on women and being blue pilled, and that feminists would criticize me for being a misogynist, and that neither of them were right. I had to do an extensive analysis of my tweets and my podcast, and it said that I'm actually very reasonable, which I appreciate. But it is what it is. The reality is, like, a lot of people who could potentially watch, my content, or, people who are like pretty left or pretty feminist, they're just not going to like it, which is a huge bummer. I don't feel like I'm being unfair. It's actually like one of the worst things you can do to a person if you want them to have a good life is to tell them that they can do no wrong and that everything they do is correct. That's one of the worst things you can do to a person, because that will have a disastrous impact on their behavior. If they're always right, you never have to take accountability. That's how you create a narcissistic person. And the problem with a narcissistic person is they're not going to be able to form stable relationships. They're not going to have people who actually like love and care about them. They're not going to have a good time. They're not going to learn to regulate their emotions, right? And that's what we're seeing with a lot of women right now, unfortunately. Huge bummer. Huge bummer. And the women who who are doing well, they had men in their lives usually who loved them enough to tell them the truth. Whether it was a brother or a father or an uncle or whoever it was a guy who didn't want anything from them, who told them the truth about reality, and that helped them develop a sense of accountability. Hey, see you later, Jason. Take it easy. And that's true. It's true with men as well. If you meet a man who gets away with everything, they're not good people either. So this is not unique to women, but it is a problem we're noticing a lot with women specifically right now, especially in the church. And this is why they have such a hysterical reaction, or why it's so hard for women to understand why this story is, or why the Nala Ray story, or any of these other stories. This is not just this story. This is a common thing we're seeing in a lot of the Christian discourse right now, where it's like, a woman with a bajillion bodies marries virgin man, is redeemed in Christ, everything is great, roll credits. It's like, yeah, but what is the fucking like day-to-day of that, marriage look like? What's the relationship maintenance on that? What's the maintenance costs on that? Anybody who's ever bought a used car, even a really nice used car with a lot of miles on it, you may need to do a full engine replacement. You got to replace broken axles and like worn out brake pads and new tires. And it's a lot of fucking maintenance, and a lot of work may still have to be done in order to do that, in order to make that sustainable over the long term. That's the part we got to be honest about. Is like, and you still fucked up. That's the other thing too, is like being honest about the, like, you still fucked up. Like, you were able to figure it out, and that's fucking sick. Good for you, bro. Psyched for you. But you still fucked up. Let's not sit here and pretend like you didn't fuck up. Like, and that's the other thing too, is when women tell the story of their promiscuity, they tell it as a bunch of bad men did bad things to me, and now I'm saved through Jesus, and I have a good husband who does good things to me. That's not my narrative. Like, I don't know about you. Like, I'm not a girl, but like, I made a ton of really bad choices that were counterproductive to my well-being. That's what happened to me. I don't know about you. I made a lot of bad choices. That's what happened to me. I made a lot of bad choices that I wouldn't make today. And they had a really negative effect on me that I am still recovering from to this day. And I'm working on it, and I've made a lot of progress, but it's still really hard. I still got a lot of work to do, right? And in order for me to form good, stable, healthy relationships, it's going to be a lot of work. It is what it is. You know, I'm not afraid of that. I am going to do the work, but it's a lot of fucking work. And it's because of my bad choices. Nobody else sat and did those choices for me. Nobody held my dick and put it somewhere I didn't want to put it. I mean, sometimes they did, but not important. In general, I was self-directed. You know, I made the choices. So because I made the choices, I am responsible for the consequences. And I can't sit here and blame anybody else and be like, oh, all these horrible women seduced me with their feminine wiles and their lady magic. It's like, no, bro, I fucking made the choices, right? So because I made the choices, I wrote the checks. So it has to come out of my account. I got to pay the debts. That's how the game goes. And I think these formerly promiscuous women would get a lot more traction. Would get a lot more traction if they approached it that way. You know, I think you get a lot more traction. The other thing too is all these hysterical church ladies need to shut the fuck up. All these like beta simp pastors who are talking about how women can do no wrong and men need to step up and accept these fucking retired whores or whatever need to shut the fuck up. If you want men to actually go to your church, then you need to present a message that approximates some kind of like aspirational masculinity. And this dude is not it. This dude is not it. Oh shit, Ronald Skinburn is here. What's up, buddy? Happy to be here. Friend of the channel, Ronald Skinburn. What's up, buddy? Yeah, so anyways, guys, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark here. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to be back on Thursday. And like I said, Saturday, we're going to be doing a panel discussion on the similar topics. I know Strider is going to be there. Society Reviews, friend of the channel, is going to be there. I'm going to be bringing on a couple other people. Hopefully, I got a couple other people I got to reach out to. We're going to try to have like a 4, maybe 5-person panel. And we're going to try to talk about more on this topic. I wanted to get most of my thoughts out in advance so that I can let the panelists talk on the panel. Because I know if you're looking at Twitter right now, it's like a lot of dudes are going off about this. It's been a lot of fun. Like I said, I don't this is a broader problem, and this is kind of like my response to a lot of the people who say that, oh, well, you just meet a girl at church. It's like, bro, the girls at church are the same as the girls. It's the same chicks as everywhere else. It's just a different location. It's the same women. It's just a different location. What? You stopped posting for a month and YouTube stopped recommending your streams to me. Fuck. God damn it. I hate this shit. Anyway, that's my fault. That's what I do. That's my fault. You got to keep up with it. You got to be consistent. I got to figure out a way to still post YouTube content when I'm on the road. Oh, that's tricky. That's tricky. We got to figure that out. Anyway, yeah, but no, I'm going to be back to posting pretty consistently right now. We're doing good. I'm feeling good. We're back on my bullshit. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. The discourse has been great. Like I said, we're going to be doing a panel discussion this weekend on Touch Grass with Theo Snodgrass. That'll be a lot of fun. I'll be back again on Thursday. I think we're going to do all the shows at noon. I think that's probably the best idea. Noon Pacific. So that's 3:00 Eastern. I think that's probably where we're going to be doing the new showtime now for a while. Like I said, things are going to be good. Oh, and good news. I have good news for everyone who's coming to the meetup in Las Vegas, the F&T meetup in Las Vegas. That's going to be the first week of August, confirmed. So I'm going to have a show during that time. I'm hopefully going to be featuring that week at Delirious Comedy Club. So if you want to see some live stand-up while you're out here, I will be there. That's going to be Delirious Comedy Club in the Silver Sevens Casino and Resort. So I'll be there. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I just got that locked up. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really, really, really psyched about that. Because one of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that I had at least something booked during that week so that people who are interested in seeing me could come out and see me and maybe buy some merch, have a good time. Because I know that a lot of folks who watch the show, they want to see the stand-up, but they don't have an opportunity to, I haven't been to their city or whatever. So yeah, if you're going to be in Vegas for the F&T meetup, I'll be performing there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Good times. Yes. Make sure to turn on like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications. Share the channel with other people that you think might get some value from it. That'd be fucking sick. And yeah, it should be good. Should be good, man. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Go ahead and please enjoy the intro to my other show as my outro to this show. Hey, thank you very, very much. Take it easy.
Look at that crack. Stanley's crack look good. This Johnson crack look good. Well, look at my crack. No. Look at that crack.
Are we looking at Ars's cat now?
Yes.
That
Sorry,
was-
I didn't hear a damn thing you said.
All right.
And cause I was a gazillionaire and I like building so much, I cut that price for free.
The species is dying. The birth rate is plummeting. Women are chopped. But yeah, you know